righty. We'll get everybody in. And I would like to welcome you all to the first ever virtual annual meeting for the Central Plains Library System. I know there's been a lot of virtual meetings going on out there, but this is a first for our system. So we have right now a total of 18. That's more than sometimes. So I'm glad you're all here. And I'm not sure what yeah, Krista, are you here? There you are.
Yep, I'm here. Hi.
All righty. So we are ready for your report from the commission.
Ah, okay. Hang on, let me bring it up. On my screen, okay. All right, so that's the right one. Yes, I have the right one. Good. All right, so welcome everybody. Here at the Library Commission, we have been, our office has been closed to walk-in traffic since March, but just on Monday, July 6th, we opened up by appointment only. This would be to both the reference side, and the Talking Book and Braille service, either one. So if you do have a need to come here physically for dropping off, picking up books, or whatever, call each place respectively. You can call the reference desk and then get you to TBBS. We are wearing masks. We are offering masks to people so that they will wear them if they do come in. There's a table right at the front of the entrance door, if you see, for exchanging, dropping off, picking up things. We're not letting people wander around aimlessly, not using the restrooms or water fountains, so keeping things safe, but people can at least come to get things and drop off things. We are still suspending the passport service. That's just too close in personal comfort to be able to do that. So we are not doing any passport appointments. Approximately 60% of our staff is working from home, either part of the time or most of the time. I personally am home most of the time, except for when I come into the office for meetings like this and to do my Encompass Live on Wednesdays. So we are still maintaining that. I just want to remind everyone, we do have those pandemic resources for libraries on our webpage. If you go to the Library Commission's website, there's a post that's pinned to the top of the page that has a link to all of our resources, a link to the lists we've been trying to keep of what library's situation is. Started when the library started closing back in March, indicating the different accommodations they have. Are they Wi-Fi in the parking lot, doing curbside, whatever. But now that libraries are reopening, we've added that kind of information. So if you want to look up your library on there, if you need to give us info, let the reference desk know, and we can update what your situation is there. We're also, there's a section there on the pandemic resources for libraries, and there's a specific library page where we're always updating the information on there. So information from OCLC or IMLS, or a CDC, World Health Organization, whatever, about anything that might be relevant to libraries and the COVID-19. Definitely want to make sure you pay attention to the REALM project. That is the project that is OCLC and IMLS doing actual scientific studies on studying how COVID-19 does or does not survive on library materials. They already did their first run of tests on 5 different materials and found out nothing lasts longer. It doesn't last longer than 3 days, 3 days at the max. So if you are quarantining things, at least for those materials, after 3 days, they should be good. They also put up other organizations' examples of reopening plans. So you can see what other states are putting up. Our Nebraska Library Commission one is included in there. And they've just announced they're doing their second round of more materials that they're testing to see how they respond to COVID-19. As far as budget information, this comes from Rod. As you've probably heard in the news and from the state and local tax receipts have declined due to pandemic, people not going out as much. So there may be reductions in the current fiscal year. We don't know yet. That the budget requests are due in September. So, this is typical. Our fiscal year starts now, but that's when we figure out do the budget request in September. So we'll have to see how that may or may not affect the Library Commission. There are also various, if you look up federal bills being put in and suggestions for new monies, CARES Act money, other type of things like that that will include libraries, that could also help us and any of you guys libraries. So something else to keep an eye on as well. So things are kind of up in the air. Same thing with LSTA. We don't know anything. The federal fiscal year begins October 1st. We don't know yet what LSTA will be funded at, but if it is kept current, our amount would increase. We did have to reduce. Previously, we had trouble meeting the maintenance of effort level that they have put on us because of how much money we were getting from the state, from the legislature. So we had to put in a waiver for that, but ideally that should be increased. So things should hopefully go well, but that's also a thing that's just unknown at the moment. So update to the Library Innovation Studios project. We had put that completely on hold. No deliveries being made to anybody of equipment, no training being done since March, but we are starting up again in Superior the end of this month. They're going to do a 2-day training session. It is going to be much limited, trying to keep up with the social distancing and safety. So we're doing many more videos. A lot of training videos and equipment videos have already been produced and will be really, provided to the libraries. And so it might be a smaller group together, and then for more of your extended volunteers or trainers, watching more videos to keep up with everything. The last 2 years, we have also done the annual Maker Showcase at the State Fair. We are not doing that this year. I heard originally the State Fair was canceled. Now I heard that the governor says it's on. Whatever the situation is, we are too much hands-on touching and close with people when we do that. It's great that we did. The kids loved it. But no, that is not safe to be anywhere near there. So we are not going to have that annual event at the State Fair this year. We did receive, as I'm sure many of you know, the CARES Act grant funds from IMLS. This was based on population. So we in Nebraska got $175,000 of that. Part of it has already been designated to cover a reader zone, which you guys all know about through Denise. So that's $10,000 of that is set aside. We're not sure how much that reader zone will end up costing, but we've got that much designated. So that's leaving us to start with $165,000 for the grants. We got 73 applications asking for a little over $281,000. So we need to make some decisions, of course, on that. We're currently reviewing it. We've got 5 people on the team working on looking at them right now. Our plan is by the end of July, end of this month at the latest, libraries will be notified if they've been received the grant, and then we'll immediately have the paperwork out. And then as soon as we get the request for payment from you, sometime in August, libraries could have their money. E-rate is, as of last week, had done 9 waves of money. We've got 59 libraries funded for a little over almost $181,000. 3 more libraries with applications still pending. They might be done now. They usually do these every week. I haven't checked today, so it might be different, but that was as of last week. Related to E-rate, I don't know if many of you attended the webinar we did about this. We now have in Nebraska an E-rate special construction state matching grant program that we're doing with the Nebraska Public Service Commission. This is something that E-rate had instituted with the modernization and updating of the E-rate program, that if a state would put up money to help libraries pay for the non-discounted portion of their E-rate. So for example, a library has an 80% discount. So E-rate covers 80%, and the library is responsible for 20% of that. The state can put up money to pay up to 10% of that extra. And if they do come up with that money to do that, then E-rate will match the state's contribution. In the case of a library who has an 80% discount, library pays 80%, state pays 10%, E-rate pays 10%, and it's free for the library. So this is special construction specifically for libraries who are getting new fiber builds to their building. So they did not have a fiber connection before and they want to get one. All the construction planning, digging the trenches, running the lines, whatever needs to be done within the library to make that fiber connection work can be part of this. The way it would work is libraries would do their E-rate application this year, asking for that fiber build money, and then they will also apply, and I've given you the link to the Public Service Commission's document that has the application form in there. Apply to Public Service Commission for the state match, and then that trickles down to E-rate, giving you matching the state funding. If there's anything else about that. Nope, that's something new. So give me a call, questions, if you have any questions or interested or know anyone who might be interested in doing that. Like I said, it's for new fiber builds. Libraries have not had fiber yet. Oh, and there's $1 million set aside that the Public Service Commission has for this, and it's for 4 years. So if the libraries don't get it in this year, that's okay. You got 3 more years to get some of the money to be part of the program. So this isn't a just this year. If you don't, if you're not ready to even think about doing fiber, our library is just mentally, you can't even think about it right now, it's not ready, that's fine. It's going to be available for 4 years. I've been doing NCompass Live every week throughout the pandemic. I'd come in here to the commission's offices and run it. Online training and education and personal development has been something that a lot of people have really been jumping on because all of us have been staying home. Our statistics on attendance and registration have kind of gone through the roof since this happened, which is awesome. 150 people registering and attending the NCompass Live shows is amazing. It's kind of slowing down a little bit now. I think people are getting back into going to reopening, but it's definitely brought attention to us. So we're keeping the schedule going, keeping up on that. So do keep an eye on our website and see what we have coming up. And I should have added, I've got one down for August 19th. Look on our website. I just didn't get it into my report. And last thing, basic skills. We did put a hold on basic skills. We did postpone 3 courses right off the bat that were supposed to happen during when everybody was closing down. But we picked it up again last month in June, Readers Advisory, and now I'm right now doing the reference class. So we are back offering the basic skills courses. The 3 that were postponed are still to be determined of when they might be rescheduled. If they'll be duplicate, at the same time as something else, or just wait till next year. That's something that Holly is still deciding on. And that's my report for now. Any questions about anything in the report or anything else commission related that I didn't mention?
I was going to ask Krista, that was a really great response to the CARES Act grant opportunity. So are you doing portions? Like if somebody asked for a certain amount of money and are they just completely out, or are you doing
Sure,
portions?
yeah, we may partially fund some of the applications, yeah, depending on what was asked for.
Okay.
And how it all works out, yeah.
That's great. Like
What's also great about this too is what we did here. Usually our grants, the money that comes from LSTA through IMLS, LSTA money through IMLS is usually restricted to only accredited libraries, and there has always been a matching portion required by the libraries, 25% match. For this grant, we got rid of those regulations. Any library could apply, accredited or not, and from IMLS, it was dictated to us, no matching will be required. So you just ask for the money, you get the full money, you don't have to come up with anything. So I think that's part of the reason why we got so many applications. Everybody was eligible and didn't have to come up with any funding, just had to come up with what you needed to respond to COVID-19.
Well, good. I'm glad. I'm glad that so many are going to get help.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think, Judy, that means we're ready to move on with the meeting, because when I put this agenda together, I wasn't sure if you were still going to be the board president, so I didn't put your name there.
Okay, that's
but
fine.
Our board president is Judy Hagan, from the library director at Atkinson Public Library.
I'd like to call the meeting to order, the annual meeting. Introduction of attendees.
Yeah, what we normally do, which is a little more complex in this situation, is go around the room and say who's here. Let's see, maybe if I just call on people, I already introduced Judy. Judy, did you want to say something more than that? Or just your name
Not
and your
really.
library? Okay,
Yeah, from the
So-
Atkinson Public Library.
and Terry, will go ahead and let Terry Eberly, we'll let you go ahead. So then Terry's our secretary, so she has to take all these minutes here. Oh, you're still muted. Hit your space bar, try that one. I heard that.
I don't call roll though, right? For the
No,
officers, board members?
No, you don't call roll, you just keep
Okay.
track of who's here.
Okay.
And so,
I'm Terry Eberly and I'm the library director at Auld Public Library in Red Cloud, Nebraska.
Matt,
I am Matt Williams, and I'm director at Kearney Public Library.
okay, Autumn,
I'm Autumn Carlson.
ooh, sorry, we're in the same room.
From Central Plains Library System, administrative assistant.
Janine,
Janine Hill, Director at Jensen Memorial Library in Minden.
Steve,
Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Fosselman, Director at Grand Island Public Library.
and Krista, I was gonna buzz right over you if that's okay. Yeah, we,
Sure.
well, we didn't get your title. Do you want to do your title?
Oh, well, I'm officially sure for the recording. I'm Krista Porter, Library Development Director at the Nebraska Library Commission.
Jerry Johnson,
I'm Terry Johnson from the North Platte Public Library, computer technology assistant, and currently on grandmother duties. And
and
yes,
Lo-
got a granddaughter already, Denise.
you have a granddaughter already?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
So
Did-
my daughter actually did a hysterectomy on someone else, an operation, this morning, and then had her baby at 11:35.
Oh,
Go
the life
figure.
of, the life of an OBGYN, right?
Yes.
What's the baby's name?
It is Charlie Josephine, little girl.
Well, grandma's beaming, I gotta tell you. Okay, Lori,
I'm Lori Long. I'm a school librarian at Gothenburg Junior Senior High School.
thank you. Cynthia Bloom, I don't know, do you know how to unmute? Try hitting your space bar. No? Okay. Well, oh yes, she doesn't have a speaker. She's put in the chat. She's Cynthia Bloom, and I know Cynthia for many years. She is the technical services person at the Holdridge Public Library, Holdridge Area Public Library, and she doesn't have a speaker, so she can't speak, but we're glad you're here, Cynthia. Jamie?
Hi, my name is Jamie Dennis. I am a library assistant with Central Community College with our library in Grand Island.
Glad you're here, Jamie. Dixie?
Hi, everybody. I am Dixie Codner, the librarian at Central Community College on the Grand Island campus.
Great. And Mo? No speaker for Mo. Mo Kamina is the library director at the Nebraska Technical College of Technical Agriculture. I can't remember which space technical is in, but anyway, he's in Curtis at the college there. Okay, and the director there. Michelle? Maybe in Holdridge they don't have speakers. Michelle McKay is also at the Holdridge Area Public Library. Tony? I know Tony said he was here earlier. Maybe they had to step away. Tony Anderson is from Alma, and he is on the Central Plains Library System Board. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I'm here. What do you call it? Not a library director, friend of the library or associate or whatever it's called on the board.
Yes, yeah, you're a CPLS board member, and Doris is there too.
Yes, my name is Doris Brandon, and I'm on the Pesh Memorial Library Board and an open board member on CPLS.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm Carrie Anderson, library director. I'm in and out.
Okay.
So
Carrie, I didn't know you were there.
Well, I just got
Here
through
by
with
yourself today.
I got through with an appointment, so I'm popping in.
All righty. Still running the library. Okay, Mike.
I'm Mike Burris. I'm the director here in Holdridge Area Public Library. I'd like to reassure everybody that we're not keeping Michelle or Cynthia incommunicado. They just haven't grabbed some of the patron headsets and to use them themselves.
Right. All righty. Well, we'll believe you on that this time. Okay, Kathy.
Kathy Thompson, Lexington Public Library.
Okay. And Mary? Maybe Mary doesn't have a speaker either. It could be. Mary is, oh, there, I see she's unmuted. Mary? Well, I don't have to speak for you, but I'm glad to. Mary Coe is the library director at the Gothenburg Public Library. And then we have Katie.
Yeah, I'm Katie Foster, and I'm the director at the Indianola Public Library.
Good to hear from you, Katie. Okay, well, I think that's everybody in the room. Wonderful. This is a great sized group. I didn't know how many we'd have.
Okay, next we have the annual meeting minutes.
And generally, let me look at it here and see how long it is. Now, generally we read that out, but not every, in the past, no, there are a lot of people who would not have had these minutes until just a few minutes before the meeting started. And I did send these out over the last few days. I sent them out several times. Do you want to just do an approval of the minutes, Judy, or do you want to have Terry read the main portion?
I think we could go through them. Terry, do you want to read them?
And you don't have to start with who was present last year. It was in Valentine Public Library. If you just start with where I welcome the attendees.
Denise Harder's welcomed attendees to the meeting and introduced Krista Porter, Director of Library Development, Nebraska Library Commission. Krista gave the report from the Library Commission.
And we can skip that part.
Okay. Call to order. Judy Hagan called the 5th annual meeting of the Central Plains Library System to order on July 18th, 2018 at 1:20 p.m. Should that have been 2019? No. The attendees introduce
Yes.
themselves, including which library or organization they represented. The minutes of the Central Plains annual meeting, which was held July 18th, 2018, were circulated. Jane Hilton made a motion to approve the minutes. Terry Johnson seconded the motion. The minutes were approved. The director's report, you want me to give that?
Yeah, that would be fine because it talks
Denise
about what we
reviewed
did.
the 2018-2019 annual report in brochure format. CPLS serves an area that covers 31,960 square miles. School Science Day with STEM equipment, STEAM equipment were held at McCook Elementary School and Atkinson Public Library with over 375 students attending. Week of Weeding was held in August and again in April with 40 participating institutions and over 18,100 items weeded. Full steam ahead events were held at Atkinson Public Library, Hastings Public Library, and Wilson Public Library to demonstrate the makerspace items available through CPLS. 19 workshops and co-sponsored, they co-sponsored events. Highlights for the year, there were 59 book club kits circulated, 1,300 aliens, 13 Spiros, 145 puppets, and 30 blocks rock sets were purchased in group order. 82 professional journals were circulated and $4,079.60 were awarded in scholarships. If there is a service or a need you would like to see CPLS offer, please let Denise know. Upcoming events, there was a meeting of the Minds scheduled July 30th at Broken Bow Library from 10 to 1. The next CPLS meeting will be held October 11th at 11 o'clock at the Atkinson Public Library. Retiring board members, Shauna Linder was recognized as an outgoing member. Denise thanked Shauna for her service on the board and as secretary. Election of new board members. Terry Johnson made a motion to vote as a slate. Jane Hilton seconded. New board members elected to 3-year terms, July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2020. Tony Anderson, library advocate at Alma. Lori Long, school librarian at Gothenburg. Linda Nickel, library advocate, Gibbon. Matthew Williams, librarian at Kearney. Shelley Ruderberries, librarian at Garfield County in Burwell. The meeting was adjourned at 2 o'clock. The attendees enjoyed a program funded by Humanities Nebraska, the Nebraska Cultural Endowment, and the Johnny Carson Fund at the Nebraska Cultural Endowment, the Audacious Nebraska Saga, Descendants of DeWitty. Respectfully submitted, Terry Eberly, Secretary.
Would somebody like to make a motion to accept the minutes?
This is Tony. I'll move that we approve the minutes.
Second?
This is Janine. I'll move to second.
Okay. With the date change fixed?
Right.
And you know what? I don't know if we need to.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, no, that got it.
It should say 19.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have the director's report.
Okay, I did email out as well the annual report. I sent it out on the email list. So it's been out a couple of times. Autumn worked really hard gathering the statistics for this so that we could show what we had done for this year. And this is a document that goes to the commission for their grant reports too. So one of the major things that it talks about is our response to the pandemic. We had Thursday morning meetings and we continue to have Thursday morning meetings. We will be continuing that until we decide that it's not necessary anymore. We've talked about a lot of different topics about what kind of services to continue and how to continue services, how to keep your staff busy so that they have projects to work on, even if they are working from home, where to get cleaning supplies, what the quarantine procedures should be, summer reading, reopening plans, morale and anxiety problems, and what plans the future holds. So we've talked about a lot of things on those Thursday morning meetings. They're generally at 10 a.m. and 25 to 55 people in any given week. So it's a good time to connect with librarians, and we have librarians from all over the state and all types of librarians. We have school and college librarians in addition to the public librarians. So it is a good cross section and it's a great time to connect with people. We compiled and still have on the website under free resources a list of things that the publishers and others provided and made available during the pandemic. A lot of those have expired now. A lot of them expired June 30, but there are some that go all the way through August. So if you have people needing books to read or online things, you might check that list. We also compiled a spreadsheet of the libraries in our system, and it was when they plan to reopen. It's similar to the spreadsheet that the Library Commission has on their website, but it's specific to Central Plains Library System. And we have had maybe, I wouldn't say ours is more up to date. I'm just saying maybe we've talked to somebody a little more recently, 1 or 2 libraries. The Reader Zone initiative was a big undertaking, and we have the statistics in the actual report. We were under 1 million minutes because this was from June 30th. So we are, like I say, at almost at 1.2 million right now of minutes read. And we are going to continue that. I want everybody to know that we plan to move forward into August. We are going to have a reader challenge of 1,000 minutes for the month of August, and it's for everybody. It's not just kids, it's adults, teenagers, little children, everybody, anybody that reads a book. And we will be sending out the information, and it will not require the individual libraries to continue if they choose not to. Their patrons can still participate through the statewide code that will be sent out. So even if you don't have a code, or if you don't want to deal with Reader Zone, that's okay. We'll send out the code and your people can participate anyway. We'd love to have as many as possible. Services this year, this last few months has not helped our numbers at all, as you all know about statistics. We're gonna kind of pretend like the end of this year didn't happen, I think, because our fiscal year ended June 30, so just now. We had quite a few workshops that were canceled. They're actually listed on the 3rd page. It talks about how those things we were going to do, but we're going to do them in a different way now. So that we did have a good group puppet purchase this year. We over $1,200 worth of puppets from Scottsbluff to Omaha. Oh, that was the savings, the $1,200 savings to the libraries that participated in that. So we have been glad to do that for the libraries across the state. Now I wanted to talk about upcoming services just a little bit, because it's been complicated to try and figure out what it is we're going to do and how we're going to do it. But what we know is we were able to reach our librarians through our email list, through our web page, through our Pinterest account. We were made contact with people that way. So in light of the changes that have happened with libraries, we felt it was necessary to reach out even more. So we have established an Instagram page, and we'll be following our libraries on Instagram. And we also have our own YouTube channel now. And so this annual meeting will be the first video available on YouTube for our new account. If we're going to use that to put up videos of training sessions that we conduct over Zoom. So we will have we are working on training sessions that will be done over Zoom, but if you don't have the ability to attend on that day, if you're busy, if you are not working that day, whatever the reason, you can always watch it on our YouTube channel. So that's one way. We're going to continue to offer CE units for our libraries so they can maintain their public librarian certification. The other thing that we're going to put on the YouTube channel are videos that you can link to, and then we'll send you the materials that you need so you can have programs ready-made. Most of them will be STEM or makerspace type programs. You can have access to that through the system office. All you have to do is let us know how many people you think you'll have or how many takeaway packs you'll be sending out. So we are making a bigger presence on social media. We have several new experience kits and STEAM equipment, which would have been rolled out at our Makers Gonna Make workshops this spring. But we are gonna roll them out slowly and in a way that everyone can have access to them. And then as we go along and more in-person programming is happening, we'll be able to send those out to you. So that is my report. Does anyone have any questions? No? Okay.
Okay. No questions? Election of board members.
Yeah, we didn't have anybody outgoing, and we don't really have anyone whose term ended.
Okay.
So we always have election of board members on the agenda.
Okay, other business?
Okay.
I just have a question. It's actually kind of probably more for Krista. Do we know what the plan is for the state scholarship money that was supposed to go to ARSL attendance? Since ARSL is also virtual now.
Right. We're working on a plan, yes. And as I was reading my report, I realized I probably could have added that to it. But, yes, ARSL is going to be virtual now. They'd announced it was going to be, and we finally just recently, like within the last week or so, they announced the pricing. It's a lot cheaper. Yeah, our grants were for $500 per person, but that was originally, travel, hotel, much more expensive things. Registration is, I think it's $50 per member and $75 now for non-members.
Yes.
$25 for board members. So it's a much lower amount. We're still going to honor all of those grants. Yes. So if people do want to attend from wherever they are, yes, we'll still reimburse you for it if you register. Last I looked, just looked this morning, they have not actually opened registration yet. They've just posted what the cost is going to be and what the schedule is. And it looks like they've got a whole week worth of sessions. So a few sessions each day spread out over that entire week. That was originally going to be the conference time. So we'll still do that. These grants always work for CE as you apply for it, you attend, and then you request reimbursement based on what you actually spent. So, you know, you'll get reimbursed for whatever you did for registration. I've been talking to Holly Duggan about it. We're working on, we'll get some news out soon about that too. But where our thinking is obviously pay for registration. If anyone maybe wants to join ARSL who has not before to get the cheaper cost, we could include that. Since we did say before that we would cover meals not covered by the conference, if you decide to watch a full day of their sessions and buy lunch for yourself, we can reimburse you for that. Keep your receipts. If you do want to do group viewings using proper social distancing and safety measures, you can do that as well. Just each person, you know, still submit your what you registered for, and we'll reimburse you for that. So if you order in lunch for someone, for everyone, and everybody pays something, they can each then ask for reimbursement for that. And then also, if you do travel to any of those places or travel somewhere to watch with someone, mileage. So everyone who got those grants will still get money based on whatever you end up doing. We are also thinking about reopening those particular CE grants for applications because we have, you know, of course, we're gonna have lots more money available because we don't need to give people $500. But also, we're pretty sure that probably some people didn't apply at all because of having to travel, even though it's just down in Wichita, Kansas, which is only 3 hours. For some people, that's more than they can do. For being away for a few days, so that maybe now more people will want to attend it because it's virtual only. So we're going to probably reopen. We've got to redo our form and some of our information on the website, but we'll probably reopen for anyone who wants to just attend and get or wants to apply for a CE grant for attending virtually. So that is what we're planning right now. We're in discussions about it, and hopefully we'll have something out within the next week or two about exactly how that will all work.
Thank you. I wondered about that.
Yeah, we've been watching and because they'd said they were going virtual, well, a couple months ago, but we hadn't had any information about what's it going to cost. Is it because some people going virtual are doing it free, and some conferences or events, and some are doing costs. Like ALA and PLA both did virtual, but still had costs. Other events like if you pay, San Diego Comic-Con is just doing it free, anyone can attend. So we weren't sure what they were doing, if we would even have anything we'd need to pay for, but now we do know that there is going to be, you know, the registration fee.
And so more staff members could go if you wanted to have your staff attend. They've got great sessions, and it says that we'll get access to all of the breakout sessions. Even if you can't attend them all, of course, you never can attend them all. But it's nice that they're breaking it down over a few days more than all day sitting in front of the computer.
Yeah, if you go to their website, you can see what the schedule is going to be for the virtual. And because originally the conference, at least what I had on my calendar, was that it was Wednesday through Saturday, but now it looks like they're doing that whole week. They've got things Monday with an opening keynote, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They've got things every day. Looking at the scheduling here, some of it is morning into the early afternoons, it looks like. Hadn't really looked at it closely myself, but so all the information is up there about the session. So yeah. Now let me just check since I'm here on it.
I was just going to pull
Still
it
just
up
have
here.
the info about the registration costs, but not a link to actually register yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for asking, Janine. I was wondering the same thing. And then are we going to do anything with scholarships like with the Central Plains Library System? Are you going to do anything? I know probably not for ARSL, but for something else, are we going to be having any meetings coming up?
Well, anybody that is attending something or, you know, has to pay for a registration, we do have money in our scholarship fund because we intended to pay $300. You know, the commission was going to go the first $500, and then we were going to go up to $300 of expenses after that. So we do have money in our scholarship fund. And if there's something that you need to pay for, yep, you can sure apply. I don't know what it's going to be, but
Yeah, I don't either.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, anything else? Any other business? Should we adjourn?
And we do have our virtual tours coming up. We have Loop River Distilling and the Museum of the Nebraska Major League Baseball. So that will be coming up shortly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did I give you permission?
So do we just stay on Zoom for the rest of that?
Yep.
Okay.
I will say I am sad that the distillery is only virtual tour and not a real tasting tour.
Where is it? I can't find it now.
You just have
Just
to
a minute, I have to give Autumn permission to share her screen here.
Okay.
I remember where it's at. I did it earlier.
Denise?
We have to have Autumn do it because when it's on mine, it goes upside down. And you guys would all have to stand on your heads. I was in the share screen one, but I can't find it. There it is. I got it now. Here it is. It says all participants. Okay.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, I can now.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so Eric and Maria Montemagna began the journey of creating Loop River Distilling in 2016. Eric has always been interested in distillation as he dabbled with it with his college roommates. And he was looking for an opportunity to add value to his corn crop and decided what better way to promote Nebraska corn farmers than turning that corn into whiskey. Sounds logical. It's what my husband would think. So the name Loop River Distilling was selected to represent the area that they call home up near St. Paul. They strive to produce quality corn-based spirits from their farm, emphasizing the grain to glass motto. The Montemagna family has a row crop operation in Howard and Greeley counties. Eric has been farming all of his life and is a third-generation farmer. He has a Bachelor of Science degree in agronomy from Cal Poly, and he has spent considerable time researching the craft distilling industry. He attends conferences and workshops throughout the country and is a member of the American Distilling Institute and American Craft Spirits Association, and he is a Master Level 2 certified distiller. Eric and Maria have been married for more than 20 years. Maria has her master's degree in nutrition and has spent her career in the education field. Customer service is her area of expertise from her time overseeing a student-run restaurant. And she has worked with the Disney Institute of Business Excellence and Quality Service. She is a nationally certified ServSafe food safety manager. And they have 2 children, Elena and Ryan. And their goal is to utilize local products in making high quality spirits. They hope to offer, or they hope their customers will enjoy fine crafted cocktails in a relaxing atmosphere of their tasting room, and then share their products at home with your friends and family. So here's a little bit of a tour from using their motto, from their grain to your glass.
What makes a good drink? Is it a brand? Maybe a fancy glass, exotic mixers? Here at Loop River Distilling, we think it's a story. It starts with the corn, grown right here on our farm in Howard County, Nebraska. We grow a lot of it here. Our story continues here. Our corn is processed and packaged at a grain elevator right down the street from our distillery. Each bag weighs about 50 pounds. That's a lot of grain. Alcohol vaporizes at 173 degrees. It's boiled down and then condensed back into the drink that you know and love. But we know that a drink isn't just the sum of its parts. To really connect with a drink, it needs to have that oomph, that X factor. The crisp of our vodka, the dry of our gin, and the Nebraska flavor of our whiskey. It's not just about the soil or the corn or the machines that process it. It's about all those things. Every part of our story goes into the taste of our spirits.
My baby knows what I'm all about.
At the end of the day, it's not just grain and wood. It's someone and somewhere to share it. That's why we have the barrel room. It's exactly what it sounds like. A room full of 2 things, whiskey barrels and the special people in your life making a memory.
My baby knows what I'm all about, what I'm all about. My baby knows what I'm all about, what I'm all about. Knows, baby knows what I'm all about, what I'm all about.
It's more than the drink. It's about the earth, the work, and the story that went into it. Let us pour you a story, from our grain to your glass.
Okay, so as you saw in the video, there they have the grain to glass destination, and their farm corn in Howard County. They farm it there, and then they distill it into vodka, whiskey, gin, and hooch. And you can enjoy those craft cocktails in their full service bar, where they serve wines and beers from other Nebraska wineries and breweries. And they offer a complimentary tour of the production area, which we weren't able to do, so we're not up there today. And that even though they don't serve food there on site, you're always welcome to bring in something or have it delivered there. And then as you saw, they have the barrel room that's available for party rentals. So here's a little bit more about the distilling process of it. Okay, so then we'll move on. Just a block or so down the street is the Museum of Nebraska Major League Baseball. And it's just a little small storefront. You wouldn't really have noticed it, but it's also where the Chamber of Commerce is located, so they can hold a dual operation there. They're most famous for Grover Cleveland Alexander. He was the third winningest pitcher in Major League Baseball history. And he was born near Elba, Nebraska. But then when he retired there in St. Paul. Nebraska actually has 7 Major League Baseball players that have been inducted into the Hall of Fame. And every summer they host the Grover Cleveland Alexander Days, which includes tours, sometimes by those Major League Baseball players. And then they have a carnival and a street dance. Of course, this year it was supposed to be starting today and through the weekend, but they're unable to have their street dance. They're very limited in what they were going to be able to do this year. But I like this quote here from Grover Cleveland Alexander. What's the use of doing in 3 pitches what you can do in 1, which is what he was known for. He threw one of the baseball's most famous strikeouts in a relief for the Cardinals. He struck out the Yankee Tony Lazzari with all of the bases loaded, and so that was one of his most famous pitches. But he has some records that are yet to be taken over. I don't know what the right word is, but let's go ahead and take our tour.
So, welcome to the Nebraska Museum.
Oh, sorry.
So, welcome to the Nebraska Museum of Major League Baseball. My name is Lauren Studley, and I'm a tour director here, tour guide, I guess I should say. I'm going to introduce you to the most important part of our museum, and this is the Hall of Fame room. Nebraska is privileged to have 7 major leaguers make it into the Hall of Fame. Of course, we talk, and this room illustrates all the things we've accumulated over the years for the 7 players. We talk more about this guy than anybody else, Grover Cleveland Alexander. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1938. He was born in Elba, passed away here in St. Paul February 4th, 1950. Grover still has Major League Baseball records that will never be broken as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, so we'll talk about things on this wall. This is the Grover Cleveland Alexander Day exhibit. We talk about this picture because it's such a neat picture. It's taken in 1926, and I'll give you the inside scoop on the 1926 World Series. Grover Cleveland Alexander pitched for the St. Louis Cardinals, and they faced the mighty New York Yankees. And Grover Cleveland started game 2, won game 2. He started game 6, won game 6. And in game 7, with bases loaded, they brought Grover Cleveland Alexander in to retire Tony Lazzara to go on to win the 1926 World Series. They made a movie about Grover Cleveland Alexander. Ronald Reagan played Grover. Doris Day played his wife, Amy. He played 5,198 innings, and he's the 3rd winningest pitcher of all time, behind Honus Wagner and Walter Johnson. And you can see people have given generously to the museum photos, cards, baseballs. And Grover's things are very valuable in the fact that there's not much of it around. The picture I'd like you to concentrate on right here, that is taken in June of 1939, and that is the first inductees into Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. All got together to commemorate baseball's 100th anniversary. You can see some pretty popular people in there. There's Babe Ruth, Honus Wagner, Grover Cleveland, Trish Speaker, Eddie Collins, Cy Young. Pretty cool picture. So then we'll go over here and we'll talk a little bit about Wahoo Sam Crawford. Obviously, Wahoo Sam was born in Wahoo and had a great career in the majors. Right next to him was Clarence Dazzy Vance. He was born in a little town called Coles, Nebraska. It's pretty much a ghost town now. But he had a terrific career considering he started in the majors late in life. He was the strikeout king. For 7 years in a row, at age 31 to 38, he was the lead. For 7 years, he was the leading strikeout pitcher in Major League Baseball, which is pretty impressive. Here are a few more things we can show you. But this is Grover Cleveland was taken during the prime of his career to World War I. He fought in the front lines of the European theater. This is the actual glove he pitched with in the 1926 World Series and a signed ball of all the St. Louis Cardinals. That was the game ball and they all signed it. And we acquired this just a few years ago. On this side, we have Richie Ashburn, Tilden, Nebraska, another little small town. Great career with the Cincinnati Reds. He was inducted in 1995, and unfortunately, shortly after his induction, he passed away from a sudden heart attack. On this wall, we have Bob Gibson. Bob Gibson is from Omaha and another great pitcher. And as you'll notice, he too pitched and solely pitched for the St. Louis Cardinals, the same team that Grover Cleveland and Alexander finished with. And we'll finish up over here with Wade Boggs. Wade Boggs was born also in Omaha. And he was generous enough to send us a box full of things from his home where he lives, some shoes, caps, and these cards. Inducted in 2005. And then Billy Southworth was from a town called Harvard, east of Hastings. Coincidentally, Billy Southworth played on the 1926 World Series team with Grover Cleveland and Alexander. Grover did all the pitching and this guy did all the hitting. He had an unbelievable series hitting the ball. So once we decided to commemorate all of the Hall of Fame players and fill this room up, we still had the back room that was basically empty. So we decided to honor any Nebraska Major League player who played at least one inning of Major League ball. And that's where we're going to take you into this next room. There are over 160 player presentations on the roster wall. They're chronologically listed. Coincidentally, starting with this guy right here, you better get a picture of him. Him and I share the same last name, but I don't think we're related. And this is the presentation we gave to each player. Now, players who have given memorabilia to have displayed, we did that on these interior walls. Jabba Chamberlain from Lincoln. Of course, Alex Gordon, who's still playing for the Kansas City Royals. Very popular Nebraska baseball player. On this side, we have gentleman from Omaha, Jackie Brandt, Russ Snyder, and Sheldon Jones from York. This gentleman will soon be getting a display. His name is Ron Hansen from Elma, Nebraska. So the reason his display is probably going to go here and we'll move Mr. Jones to a different area is because Jackie, Russ, and Ron Hansen all played for the Baltimore Orioles from 1960, 61, 62. So a third of the team was made up of Nebraskans, which I think is a really cool statistic.
Nice representation.
Yeah. They both have been grand marshals at our local celebration. We have a local celebration coming up next week called Grover Cleveland Alexander Days. And we usually get retired baseball players to be our grand marshals, and they've both been here.
That's when our annual meeting is next Friday. And so we had planned to be here at the library in St. Paul and then come down here for a tour.
I see. Okay.
But due to COVID, this is the best we can do.
Yeah. Okay, so then I'll walk you over. This is a gentleman, Bob Serb. He was from a little town east of here on your way into Omaha called Weston, Nebraska. Bob was one of several Major League Baseball players who, when asked to donate to the museum memorabilia, he was reluctant until he actually came out and physically seen the facility. After doing that, him and his daughter came back and brought all these things with them. Several players have done that. They're just not real sure about if we're the real deal when you talk to them on the phone or send them a letter. But once they come out here and see what we have to offer as far as recognizing Major League players from Nebraska, it's kind of a no-brainer then for them. So we're going to finish up our roster wall. The roster wall, what we do is we've taken tidbits of information from nicknames to statistics to where they're born, how long they spent in the majors, and we compile it and then we put it on the wall. This is kind of a neat picture that we inherited. Though Babe Ruth isn't from Nebraska, and we think it's still kind of a cool little picture.
You bet, and signed.
Okay, so then we'll go over on to this wall. Daryl Johnson grew up in Horace, Nebraska, which is a ghost town. But look, his career in the majors was astounding. And I had the fortune to be able to and play golf with him one weekend. He was back visiting. He came to the museum, and then very next day, coincidentally, him and I got put together in a golf tournament. So he was a really, really good golfer, as a matter of fact. As an outstanding golfer, Daryl Johnson won the Professional Baseball Players Off-Season Golf Tournament 7 consecutive times. His Yankee teammate, Mickey Mantle, always told Daryl that he turned professional in the wrong sport. Dick Wagner is from Central City, Nebraska. He was one step away from being the Major League Baseball commissioner, but he was the commissioner for the Cincinnati Reds and manager for quite a few years. I actually think Dick could have had the Major League Baseball commissioner job if he really wanted it. I really have that feeling. I had a great visit with him when him and his wife were here. Jeff Richardson, better known as Whitey Richardson from Grand Island, has been in the museum and generously donated these things to us. Plus, he has been a Grand Marshal. Lee Tate from Omaha was our Grand Marshal a few years back. Played in our golf tournament. He's had 13 hole-in-ones in his golfing career. Dwight Siegler from Columbus, Nebraska. Another gentleman who came out to see what we were all about. Once he did that, not only did he bring this stuff, he installed it. So, which I think is really awesome. On this wall, we have Johnny Hawk from Hastings, Nebraska. As you can tell, Nebraska is just rich with Major League Baseball heritage.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Les Menamaker from Malcolm, Nebraska. Little town down by Lincoln. Dan McGinn from Omaha. And Wally Provost, who was a sports writer for the Omaha World Herald. His wife generously donated all this information. So we thought we needed to make a spot someplace in the museum for him. And you'll notice all these files full of Nebraska players with newspaper clippings from Rex Barney to Russ Snyder.
Even his pipe there.
Yep, and his pipe. And that's how he sent the news story, his stories down to the editing room. With that. This is one. That's right. Good. So the museum started its 20th year of being in this facility here. And we're very proud of it. We've had visitors from every state in the Union, several other countries, and Canada and Mexico. And so we're very, you know, it's ran by volunteers. We are pretty much donations only is how we're funded. So we have a crew of about 7 or 8 board members, and then we share the office with the Chamber of Commerce, which allows us to be open daily, 9:30 to 4:30, and weekends by appointment. So that gives you kind of the rundown on the hours. Of course, the pandemic has got us kind of behind as far as numbers for this year, but it'll pick back up one of these first days.
And this upcoming weekend is your
Our local
Alexander
celebration.
Grover Days.
Yep.
And she said it's going to be cut back a little bit, no street dance.
Right, they're cutting back quite a few events just because of the virus issue.
Yep.
So,
All right.
that's pretty much.
Well, thank you
in a
very
nutshell.
much for giving us the tour. And
Yes, you're welcome. Very welcome.
we,
I'm sorry we couldn't make it live, but
that's okay.
Well, thank you for joining us today. Autumn got to take the tour. No? Yeah, Autumn got to take the tour of the baseball museum. I'm not sure if she stopped at the brewery, but
I went inside
or the distillery,
but nothing to drink.
but it would have been a fun day. She had a lot of things planned, and I know we'd have had a good time. So thank you for attending our annual meeting this year. We'll see what the next year brings. Yeah, too bad we couldn't meet as a group.